Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of First Person, sponsored by the Buckeye Insurance Group in Piqua and the Coverman Dickerson Agency, representing Buckeye in Troy, Piqua, Covington, and St. Paris. We emanate this week from Loramie High School with the head basketball coach of the Lady Redskins, Carla Siegel, an iconic figure, I might say, in women's basketball in Southwest Ohio for your record here, your longevity, 13 years, 200 plus wins. We'll talk a little bit about that, but I enjoyed coming here because of you and what your girls do. It's fun, and I appreciate everything that you've accomplished.
Well, thank you, Sonny. I appreciate all those kind words. I've been very fortunate here in this community, the support, and the players I've had. I've been blessed. They work hard, and they know basketball, and they listen, so it makes it a good team unit.
You know, I've been paying attention to Loramie sports for, it seems like a long time, but 13 years goes by pretty fast, doesn't it?
It does. It sure does. I feel like it was yesterday when I got hired.
We talk a little bit about your record, and I think everybody locally knows the back-to-back Final Four appearances in 2010, 2011, 3 times in the Final Four in the last 5 years, and yet you haven't been able to bring that championship trophy home here. And we know we talk about rebuilding as part of high school sports, but I don't think people understand sometimes that coaches have to rebuild too. And I wanted to ask you, how have you personally been able to handle that? And I know it's a disappointment because you're a competitive person.
It is. It has been. You know, all 3 years we felt going in that we had the shot, you know, the chances to win those games. And I'll be honest with you, the one that probably hurt me the most was 2010 when we had that 18-point lead against Harvest Prep, and it fell away. And that one did affect me for a long time. You know, you take some time off, and you just regroup. And I've got good people around me. I mean, you are who you hang out with.
Sure.
And I've got great assistant coaches. I've got a great support group that's always there for me, that has my back, and they rejuvenate me. And then, you know, I can't forget the players. I've got players coming back, and they work hard, and they make this fun. And you know, you coach for the girls, you coach for yourself, and as long as I'm having fun and I enjoy it, I'll keep coaching.
You know, you talk about the kids regrouping. You lost a big senior class here again last year. Some very talented players, including Janelle Oberding and Claire Ruenkamp, players like that. I don't leave anybody out, but the fact of the matter is, you're right back here again this year with freshmen and sophomores, and you've done this year after year after year after year. What is the secret to having the kind of consistency that you have in rebuilding? Because a lot of coaches can't do that, have not been able to do that. You've been able to do that.
That's maybe the million-dollar question. I don't know if there's an answer to that as far as the secret. I will be quite honest with you. I'm surprised at the way things have turned out this year. You know, the girls have played hard. We have 6 losses. At one time we were 7-6, and now we've reeled off 10 wins. I don't know. I think there's a little bit of everything. One's community support, one is athletic players, 2 is your coaching staff. My expectations are high, and the girls know that. And sometimes they say my expectations are too high, and I push them too hard. But you know, I think I love the game. I'm very passionate about basketball. I always have been, as a player, as a coach. I love it. I love being in this gym. I love working with the girls. I love the X's and O's. I love strategy. I love pulling off upsets. And I think, you know, when they see my passion and they see, you know, how hard I work, my work ethic, I think it rubs off on them and it challenges them, and they want to meet those expectations. You know, I don't know if there's a secret that I can actually nail.
I'm going to drop this on you as a surprise because, you know, I'm always asking questions, I'm always polling people, and I see a lot of women's basketball coaches in the Southwest District, and if you ask them, you go around and you say, name your top 5 coaches in women's basketball, almost, I'm going to say 9 out of 10 mention Carla Siegel. You have such great respect among your peers in coaching, and I know you're not a person to play your own song, but yet I know you appreciate the fact that others appreciate your body of work here.
Oh, I do that. That's the greatest compliment ever is from your coworkers, and there's a lot of other great coaches out there too that I have the utmost respect for, and I get along with them so well. And this is just a wonderful, you know, job that we do. You know, working with young athletes and being role models, and it's I take these compliments to heart. They mean a lot.
For Loramie Redskin coach Carla Siegel with the women's basketball program here at Loramie. We'll be back with more in the second half. We're going to talk a little bit about women's basketball in 2012 right after this word from the Coverman-Dickerson Agency in Troy, Piqua, Covington, and St. Paris. Stay tuned.
The Coverman-Dickerson Agency, with offices in Troy, Piqua, and Covington, is pleased to be the sponsoring Buckeye Insurance Group agent for this first-person interview. For farm, auto, and homeowner insurance, Coverman-Dickerson is one of the area's fastest-growing Buckeye providers, with a history of service and competitive rates. And we're also an outstanding source of coverage for families with young drivers. For farm, auto, and home policies, call the Coverman-Dickerson Agency, proud to represent Buckeye Insurance Group.
Welcome back, everybody, to this week's First Person with Loramie basketball coach Carla Siegel. I don't think anybody understands the differences in the girls and the boys games like a girls coach. And I have said for years, you see the gap narrowing in some respects, and yet there are other respects it will never. For instance, I don't ever expect to walk out and see Brittany Griner or three Brittany Griners on the same court at the same time. It is a different game, and yet it's a game that apparently more and more people are becoming appreciative of, the girls' game of basketball. Give me your thoughts as to why.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You go to these tournament games and you'll see the girls' crowds getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You hear a lot of people saying, boy, those girls' games are fun to watch. And I think, a lot of it goes back just to fundamentals. The boys' game is so fast, it's so physical, and it's not really a game of basketball maybe anymore. This is my opinion, of course. And I think with the girls' game, you have offensive execution, you've got defensive plays being taken at a slower rate, and there's not as much physical contact. I think maybe a lot of people miss that from the basketball game in the boys' arena.
The very fact of shooting always comes home to me, because as you look across the state of Ohio, there was a stat out a couple of years ago that I think at that time it said across the state girls were 6% better free throw shooters than boys. That's inexplicable. I don't know why, other than focus, concentration, commitment to it, and just sheer work and practice.
I would say that you probably said all the reasons why. Free throws aren't fun. I mean, dunking is more fun. Working on individual moves and moves. Those are what a lot of high school kids get caught up in. They watch the YouTube clips of all the big NBA stars, and those are the things that they work on rather than just the fundamentals. Free throws is a huge fundamental to any game. As we sit here and tape this again, you're standing 17-6 for the year. You just won your 5th consecutive sectional title. I might add also, you've been here 13 years, you've won 11 sectional tournament titles in those 13 years, going back to that fact of consistency and rebuilding and reloading. But tell us a little bit about this group. Again, as we said here today, you'll play in the districts this coming week. Tell us a little bit about this group of freshmen and sophomores that's made them pretty special for you. Yeah, they just they're like sponges out there. They listen, and they come and they ask questions. If they're doing something wrong, they want to know why, and it's a neat group of girls, and they challenge one another, and that's why our practices are so competitive, and that's why I think, at the beginning of the year we struggled. Things weren't clicking for us because we were just behind the 8 ball because we had such a young group. But because over the course of the season, they're challenging each other, they're learning, they're listening, they're working so hard, and we're finally getting over that hill of that we were at back in December.
And you've always been able to have competitive kids. And I go back to the January 7th game that we did of yours up at Versailles. You got 3 starters out. You got one with a blown out knee, you got one out with a concussion, and one with a broken nose and 2 purple eyes. Yeah. And they can't wait to get back to practice. And I remember Darian Rose telling me how bummed she was that she couldn't even walk in the gym and be in practice because of the lights.
Yeah, that was not a happy moment for her when she kicked her out of the gym. She just wanted to shoot around and sit and watch, and I was like, no, if the lights are irritating you with your concussion, you're out. And yeah. she was. I tried to send her home, but she ended up walking the hallways with Renee. But yeah, they just they love the game, and from a person that loves the game, that's all I can ask for, is that they can match my intensity and match my passion.
You're creeping up on Jane Poppleman. I know that means a lot to you because she was your coach here.
I think the word of Jane Poppleman. She did so much for girls basketball, not just for Fort Loramie, just I think for the whole entire state. And everybody's like, are you going to beat her women's record? That's not a goal of mine at all, because I think that she's just great and wonderful. But it would be a huge compliment if I'm still around to do that.
For 13 years, you look pretty good as an icon.
I appreciate
You do
that,
a lot
Sonny.
for the term icon.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
One of the really great stories in women's basketball in Southwest Ohio, Carla Siegel, again, our guest this week on First Person. That wraps up this week's edition, again brought to you by the Buckeye Insurance Group and the Coverman-Dickerson Agency representing Buckeye in Miami and Champaign County. Thanks again for joining us this week and your support for PressProsMagazine.com. We'll see you again next time here on First Person.
If you are looking for quality insurance protection from a reliable company, sold by professionals in communities like yours, that's what you'll get from Buckeye Insurance Group.
Buckeye Insurance Group, insuring the heartland.
To find your local Buckeye agent, visit buckeye-ins.com. Buckeye Insurance Group, insuring the heartland.
Insuring the heartland.